What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, this video, I really wanted to speak on this topic, and I feel like this topic is something that should be talked about. So, as we all know, a few weeks ago, Kevin Durant stated that he wanted to be traded from the Brooklyn Nets, and since then, we've had a plethora of teams and, different, let's say packages put together for potential trade options for Kevin Durant from, whether it's going to be the Heat, whether it's going to be the Raptors, newly the Celtics have came into the fold. But what I want to talk about is not KD in this particular video. I actually want to talk about his running mate, Kyrie Irving, who has recently said, and I quote, I don't know how true this is, but what I'm hearing is Kyrie says he will play in Brooklyn with or without Kevin Durant. And I don't think that's getting talked about as much as people should. But if you think about going back to when they first initially decided to team up, Kyrie is the one who, put KD on board to actually join Brooklyn. We've seen the video time and time again where, they're talking and it's mentioning that, they have two spots available for max players, what have you. Their relationship is a good one. So I would suggest that, in them joining forces, you would think Kyrie would leave if KD isn't there, which presently isn't, what's happening as far as Kyrie saying that. Now, a team with Irving, Durant, presently Ben Simmons, and a few other pieces that the Nets do have is formidable in the East. We all know that. The Nets were, at the beginning of last season, one of the favorites to win the title. They did have James Harden at that time. But if you look at, the landscape of the East, you said to yourself, regardless, who's on the roster, as long as Durant and Irving is there, they had a chance. Kyrie didn't take the vaccine, so we know how that ended up. James Harden ended up in Philly. So now we have a host of other things happening as far as what's going to happen going forward with the Nets. And honestly, I could say that Brooklyn with the trade of Irving possibly, and the trade of KD, then that will leave them in a different spot, right? That will leave them in a different spot as far as where would they be in the East. I'm saying if Kyrie is thinking, all right, if they trade KD, I'll be here with Ben and whoever they bring back. Hopefully Brooklyn can trade and get possibly a Jaylen Brown. That would be interesting. Jaylen Brown, Kyrie, they were teammates at one time. So we could be seeing a reunion. Now, on the other hand, what are they going to do as far as KD? But again, like I said, this video isn't about KD. This video is about Kyrie just saying these things that he said. If he stays by himself and what Brooklyn brings back in return to team up with him. Now, can we see a situation where Kyrie is the focal point of the Nets? That would be interesting, barring what happened over the last year. Don't rule out a trade for Kyrie to other teams. But again, other teams are not as high on Kyrie as they would have been a few years ago, just due to what happened in the past season. Also, they have been. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys see Kyrie staying? Honestly, if I was to bet my money, if I was a betting man and put my money on it, I would honestly say I don't think the Nets are in a rush to trade Kyrie. I think Kyrie is going to be with the Nets next season. I think KD is going to be with the Nets next season. I think they're going to have a three of Ben, Kyrie, and KD at the beginning of the season. Now, how things pan out through the rest of the season is only, yet to be seen. But for me, I really, really, really don't see a scenario where the Nets are in a hurry to get rid of Durant so soon, being as though he still is under contract for the next 4 years. There is no rush. Now, if the Nets come out and start the season 10-0, we might be speaking differently. A month into the year, we might be speaking differently at the halfway point in the season. Who knows? I honestly don't see a drastic change in the Nets roster in the next coming months. I could be wrong. It is only July, so we still have a few more months left before teams start to roll out for training camp and for teams start to before the preseason even gets started. So we'll see how things pan out in that way. But Kyrie definitely saying he'll play in Brooklyn with or without KD speaks volumes, at least to me. At least that lets me know that, he's somewhat all in, and maybe the Nets will take him serious going forward as far as what he's going to bring to the table, which we know Kyrie is an all-world talent offensively. We know what he can do, especially with the right pieces. We haven't seen him perform to the level of being in the finals with Cleveland because, he hasn't been back since LeBron was on his team. And, LeBron has spoken out about wanting Kyrie in LA, but I don't see that happening either, just due to the fact that it's going to be kind of hard with the scenario going over there with Russell Westbrook. It's a lot of interesting storylines before the season even starts, and we'll see how things pan out. As always, it's Astronaut H, man. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Also, drop them comments. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts. It's always interesting. It's Astronaut H. It's the What More Do You Want Network. I'll catch you guys on the next video.